Previously on One Giant Leap for Geeks.
We will be doing part 2 of the
obligatory year-end best and worst of list.
For those of you who may not have heard part 1 of this, my lists have 2 important distinctions, and I will recap them as follows.
1.
The numerical position of any given subjects on these lists do not indicate my quote-unquote like of that subject over any other subject on said list. There are plenty of things not included on these lists that I liked or disliked, but wanted to keep these lists at 10 with one honorable mention apiece. The position of these subjects is random. These are just a collection of things I enjoyed or disliked from this, the year of our Lord, 2017.
2.
These lists are comprised of movies, TV shows, games, anime, and events and geekdom from the prior year. It would be logical to make comparisons of subjects on these lists based on their numerical position to each other, seeing as those two subjects may or may not be comparable, and trying to judge which one is quote-unquote better is silly.
I will ask all the passengers to please take their seats and prepare for landing.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for
Geeks.
The worst. Number 8.
The Punisher series. This is probably my second biggest disappointment of 2017. The first is a little bit later in the list. But what happened? What happened?
You mad?
Frank Castle has gone through so many ups and downs historically with his character. I mean, there's been so many different interpretations of the Punisher, it's ridiculous. And none of them ever seem to really capture who Frank is and really do that character justice. And we finally got a good actor to portray him in John Barenthal. And we finally got a medium to place his character in that works for him. I truly, truly believe that a Punisher series will work a million times better than a Punisher movie ever will. The Punisher is not a unique and interesting enough character to make a movie of that I think will be different enough from anything else that's currently out there. I don't think that you could put out any Punisher movie that would ever be as good as a John Wick or The Raid or, something like that. So the fact that they put him in a series really lets you go into the psychology of this character and do a lot of fun things with him that you may or may not have been allotted the time to do in a feature-length film or some kind of movie series or franchise. When we are introduced to Frank Castle in season 2 of Daredevil, that is some of the best goddamn television that has ever been put on television. And the disconnect from where we left off with him at the end of that season of Daredevil to where we pick up with him in his own series, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know if the showrunners who were making Punisher didn't watch season 2 of Daredevil or what, but it seems like he's a completely different character now. I mean, don't get me wrong. He still barely talks and just grumbles everything, and he's still, an asshole. But we feel like we've regressed. Like, I felt that we had progressed with his character throughout the little bit of time that he's in the second season of Daredevil. And when we get to this, it feels like that's all been undone, or it's like it never happened. Like, his whole characterization is different now. Okay, so some of the things that are just wrong with this show overall. We spend way too much time with Microchip and his family that thinks that he's dead. There is, just countless minutes of episode time that is just wasted with his family. Like, that whole thing with Frank and Microchip's wife kissing and everything, they thought like, it's gonna be some drama and love triangle, and it goes nowhere. It means nothing. It's a throwaway thing. Nothing comes of it. Nothing happens. It was pointless. The relationship that Frank develops with Microchip's kid. All of it. It's just pointless. It's just filler. It's there. It's Iron Fist levels of bad. I was just, it boggled my mind. I can barely even find the words to describe how just disinterested I was in any time that they came on the screen. And honestly, the show overall is just packed wall to wall with filler. It's just filler. Nothing happens for a good chunk of it. It's so slow. I mean, to the point of you are fighting sleep while you're watching it. I can't even count how many times I had to go back and rewatch sections of episodes or almost entire episodes because I just fell asleep in the middle of it. I never had that problem with any of even Iron Fist, I stayed up through. And I think that was just, I was being fueled off of just sheer anger watching Iron Fist. But the Punisher series is a massive letdown. I don't know what happened. I mean, why are we retreading the same story that we went through in season 2 of Daredevil? I mean, literally, this entire season of Punisher, we're basically retreading the story of Frank's family being killed and him trying to seek revenge for their deaths, and you finding out these revelations about who did it, and it was somebody close to Frank that he knew in the military, and it involved some shady shit with other government agencies and yada yada yada. We've done this. We told this story already. Why are we going back and doing this? If you wanted to tell this story, then we should have been doing something different in his first appearance in season 2 of Daredevil. Why are we going after this? I mean, that could have been, hey, he's punishing some other criminals who are loosely, involved, or he's just on this, they're just in the way to his end goal that he will get to in his own series. But that felt finalized in season 2 of Daredevil. It felt like that was the end, and they kind of left some little breadcrumbs like, oh, there might be a bigger story behind this. But I'm like, we basically just retreaded that same story from his first appearance in Daredevil show. So I really felt like this entire series was a waste. He barely puts the fucking skull on. I think he wears it at the very beginning and then like in one episode towards the end. The entire thing is deceptive. Like, it's so lackluster. The action is so non-existent in the show. It's ridiculous. All the cool shit that they showed you in the trailer for that show is basically just the final 2 episodes of the show. All those gunfights and that warehouse looking thing, all that's in that place, that his hideout that him and Microchip has. That happens over the course of 2 episodes, pretty much. The show is boring as shit. For a show about a guy who kills mob people and gangs and shit like that and has just a small army's worth of an arsenal at his command and is just a badass overall, this was the slowest, most boring shit I have ever watched in my life, and I wish that I could get those hours back because this was a waste. I am in no way, shape, or form excited for the second season of The Punisher. I don't know what they're going to do to make this better, but this was terrible. I am so disappointed because I had finally thought that we had made a Frank Castle that general audiences would enjoy watching, and we could really delve deep into his psychology and give us a good attachment to his character, because we may not agree with his methods, but we like him as a person enough to follow him on his journey and want to see where he goes next. But after the de-evolution of his character in this series, I could care less what happens to Frank.
Ultra Combo!
What pissed you off last year? Got any ideas for an upcoming episode? Want to tell me how much I fucking suck? Or if you just want to say hi, leave that down in the comments below. Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're not sick of me yet, you can find me on Twitter. Look for Giant Leap, the number 4 Geeks. And on YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook, and Instagram, look up One Giant Leap for Geeks. See you guys next time.